What's up, guys? Ben here, bringing you another video today. We finally had a tournament series that Tom and myself and Repos have been working on for a minute. Starting next week, August 16th will be the first tournament. So let's talk about it. I'm going to give you guys some background on kind of how it came together, kind of explain the format, and then some tweaks we might be making because we've gotten some community feedback in the last 12 hours. So I want to talk about that and kind of answer some common questions that folks might have. So let's dive in. All right. So context, how did this kind of come together? So if y'all remember, late last year, when things kind of slowed down around the holidays, people started chirping on Twitter, Warzone versus CDL, who was better. And then you guys saw those 1v1s mostly with Biffle versus like Shotzi and Cell. You had Mutex going on the timeline, talking smoke. Like there was a lot of cross conversation about who was better. And, you know, we had some organic streams around then, a lot of really cool content created. The communities were kind of getting together. And that got me and Tom kind of thinking. It got Repos thinking as well, because they were kind of doing collective content together. And so kind of around New Year's, we started really pushing with Activision about, yo, like, we'd love to do this concept. I think the biggest thing from our end is, one, is getting a sanctioned tournament, and two, getting, you know, prize pool. And we kept kind of chipping away at the idea throughout the CDL season. And then eventually we get to now, which about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, you know, Activision came to us and said, hey, like, we've got money set aside internal to do this. People are really excited about the idea. What do you guys want to do, format and all that? So we sat down with them. They didn't need to reach out to us, by the way, like just as a frame of reference. Like Activision could have ran this tournament on their own, like internal. But since we all kind of collectively came up with the idea, they basically came to us and said, yo, like, if we're going to do this, we're going to talk to y'all and get your feedback and do this with you guys because you guys came up with the idea. So here is where we are. King of Call of Duty. To kind of give you a 101 on sort of the format, 150K prize pool. There's going to be 5 tournaments over 3 weeks. Originally, we were going to do kind of 1 tournament per week for 5 weeks. I think the biggest issue for us is, 1, scheduling, and 2, and you're going to kind of bring this up a couple of times when I kind of go through a lot of common questions I've seen around this. It's the summer. It's August. People are traveling. People are on vacation. The most important thing for us is to get the best players in a tournament. So availability is really key because a lot of the people we want are traveling. We're trying to work around their schedules. Also, World Series of Warzone as well. Didn't want to kind of get too much into the wake of that and wanted to make sure we got, you know, because there's some cross players across both. Wanted to make sure that we weren't sort of interfering with that. So that was kind of the thought process. So the first 4 tournaments on August 16th, 18th, the 23rd, and the 25th. We're all going to be 20K prize pool, and the last tournament on September 1st is going to be $70,000. Now, the format for the tournament currently, and I say currently because we've gotten some feedback, and I'll get to that in a minute. The current process is we're going to alternate Warzone and S&D for the first 4 tournaments. The teams will be mixed. So the idea is to have an even number of Warzone players and CDL players on each team. And then the 5th tournament will be a full CDL versus Warzone across different games, like multidisciplinary tournament. And I think the thought process on our side, because I've seen a lot of questions of like, why don't you lean into, you know, CDL versus Warzone for all the tournaments? One is we want to make sure that people play them and they feel comfortable playing them. The second is a lot of people have been playing like Black Ops 3 chows, Cold War chows. And I don't know how much MW2 or Warzone, a lot of people that might play in this have been playing. And mind you, we've gotten a lot of like big name and really talented players on the Warzone, the CDL side that want to play. We already have people doing up, but anyway, it's that in a second. So we want to make sure everybody got experience for the last tournament. And we also wanted to make sure the tournaments were like exciting and like kind of, you know, definitely fun to watch, and not like, oh, if we're watching a Warzone tournament, like the Warzone pros are just going to win. S&D tournament, the CDL pros are just going to win. We want to mix it up. So I think the biggest piece of feedback we've gotten overnight, and something I'm going to take back to the team, is a lot of people kind of like the mixed format. They want to see us put some respawns in. I don't think we would do control because control is already kind of, I didn't really like control this year, but topic for another video. A lot of people want to see us do hard point. So I'm going to take that back to specifically Tommy and Hector and see if we're down to maybe swap out one of the S&D tournaments for hard point. Maybe we go both to sort of a mixed S&D and hard point format. We're going to talk that through like today and tomorrow and kind of lock in an idea. I will say the nice thing is Activision's like pretty flexible with us on format. So if we go back to them and say the players and the community want us to bake in respawn, we'll bake in respawn here. But that's like, I think the biggest tweak we might make to it. And I really appreciate everybody when you respond to this video or my tweets about it. Like, let me know how you feel, because we really want to try and tweak this the best way we can. We got some time to make some changes, so if we're gonna make some changes, we got to get them in soon. So that's really the format. It's going to start first with a kill race tournament on the 16th. Then will be a CDL tournament. 23rd will be a Warzone. 25th will be a CDL. We'll get a couple of days off, and then we will have a combo tournament on September 1st. The idea in that September 1st tournament is like, it's basically a best of 3 with Warzone, CDL. The third game mode, we're still trying to figure out. I want to put 1v1s as a third game mode, but I'm cognizant of potentially some Warzone players feeling like maybe that's a little bit unfair. So maybe, like, depending on how a tie-breaking scoring goes over the first 2 game modes, you got a choice between like a Vondel kill race or a 1v1. We're going to kind of talk through it this weekend and sort of figure out what we want to do with that last game mode for the last tournament, but we have some time to figure it out, so I'm not really worried. And we want to do best by the community and the players on like what people want to play in that sort of mixed tournament, because it's for a lot of money. It's for $70,000, so there's good coin on the line. All right, so a couple of common questions. First common question: how do I watch this thing? So you can watch at twitch.tv/Call of Duty. There will be an official broadcast, but obviously you can also tune in to your favorite creator. Myself, for example, if you want to watch a tournament, we're giving you more of a casual experience, you know, kind of doing the same thing we did with sort of the Flank Invitational, we did with the 1v1s. We'll do some listen-ins. We'll figure out kind of how to make it fun and fresh and exciting, but you can kind of choose your own experience and how you want to watch, and all of the participants will have to stream, whether it's on Twitch or whatever platform they're on. So just be on the lookout for that. What time of day is it? All the tournaments are going to start at 3 p.m. East Coast time, 12 p.m. Pacific. We talked through this with Activision. You know, there's some momentum to maybe have them later in the day. I'm just concerned with an 8-team double elimination tournament, which is what we're setting out to do with the first couple here. That, like, if we started like 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. East Coast time. And I also know that people like torch at the beginning of these tournaments, like getting check-in, getting set up for the first couple lobbies. Like, they're never on time. I want to make sure we can run this tournament during prime hours. And the biggest kind of issue I had with the Fling tournament last year is the finals were at like 2 or 3 a.m. East Coast time. It was way too late, and people were kind of watching the day after. And I want to make sure that people can watch this live, sort of at prime time, East Coast time at least. So that's kind of the thought process on our side there. All right, a common question I've also gotten: who is going to play? So we've started reach out to captains. We've actually had a lot of interest from players on FaZe, on Optic, on Toronto Ultra. A bunch of other sort of pros are really excited on teams like New York, and a couple other teams that haven't formed yet. I don't want to leak who players are on, but my point being, we've got a decent amount of interest on the CDL and the Warzone side. And the fun thing actually as well is we've had people already like doing up. I've had players hit me up and be like, yo, this is my Warzone duo for these tournaments. And I'm like, well, that's a stacked team. So we're working through that. Captain announcement should happen at some point next couple of days once we lock everybody in for the first couple of tournaments. So be on the lookout for that. And then final question is, hey, I really like this idea, but I think you should make a change to this or that. My response to that is, please let me know on Twitter, on Reddit, in the comments of this video, what you think we should change. As far as Activision goes, you know, they've told us, listen, we want to make sure we get Warzone and we get like CDL game modes, basically MW2. Outside of that, whatever you guys feel like the community, the players want to do, like, we're open. So this is my kind of key to you. If you guys got some cool event things that you want to do, formats, rules, like, I'm down to talk about it. I know there's been a lot of conversation about no sound EQ. We're going to talk through that. I actually really want to play with no sound EQ. It's just kind of hard to enforce it when not everybody's on like hardware that we can control, i.e. like CDL computers. Please let me know what feedback you have as far as rule set stuff goes, format stuff goes. I'm going to take that back as I kind of see fit, and we'll make as many tweaks as we can. And again, Activision, I think, is not really going to throw a lot of roadblocks in our way. Like, if we say, hey, the community wants to do this, the players want to do this, they're going to be like, cool, that works for us. So yeah, that's basically it. Really excited. We're going to be talking about more of this in the next couple of days, and the first tournament's in 4 days. So that's going to be kind of a lot of our content next week covering those 2 tournaments. I think the last thing from my end is August 23rd and 25th. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in LA. So talking to Tom, might be doing those live, me and him, maybe from the warehouse, maybe from his apartment. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be in LA that week, so I think we're going to have a little fun covering this there. So yeah, that's the tournament. Really excited to cover this one. We've been working on it for a while. I want to shout out a couple of people who made this happen. Tommy and Hector for kind of helping push as well as myself on this. Like, they both felt just as passionate in doing this as possible. I really want to thank Shanice over at Activision, who was the person I talked to the most about this, and she did a lot of work. I'm pretty confident to try and get this one like over the line. She's the go. She helped us do the Flank Invitational last year. And it's been really helpful in kind of getting this over the line. So shout out to her. Shout out to the Kinetic team that's going to be the production and tournament organizer for this tournament. Again, they've also been really helpful getting this organized and deferring to us on what we want to do. So more to come there. And everybody else internal to Activision that kind of helped greenlight this. We really appreciate it. We know that there is going to be feedback and things we're going to get right and things we're going to get wrong about this tournament. That's the process. It's the first one. And I'm hoping that this is just as successful and that we can do this about 15 other times and keep poking the thread that is, which is better, CDL versus Warzone. So appreciate you all tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video. Like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more. And as always, guys, we will see you on the next one.